This is the last day of the dinosaurs, and we are going to watch it happen minute by minute. 66 million years ago, on an ordinary spring morning, an asteroid about 10 kilometers wide, 6 miles across, is already falling toward what is now Mexico, faster than a rifle bullet. High in the daytime sky, it looks like a new star, growing brighter every second. It is not a star, and in the 2 hours after it lands, 3 out of every 4 species on Earth will begin to die. The dinosaurs that had ruled this planet for over 150 million years wiped out. Everything you are about to see is real, reconstructed from the rocks that recorded it. So let's start the clock. T+0. The asteroid slams into the shallow sea off what is now the Yucatan, moving at around 20 kilometers every second, roughly 45,000 miles an hour. It does not slow down for the air, it does not slow down for the ocean. It punches straight through both and detonates against the bedrock, releasing energy on the order of 100 teratons of TNT, more than 1 billion Hiroshima bombs in a single place, in a single instant. The asteroid itself is vaporized, so is the ground beneath it. In seconds, it carves out a crater more than 180 kilometers across, over 100 miles wide, and blasts a plume of molten rock and vapor clean up through the atmosphere and out into space. And the planet doesn't just shake, it rings like a struck bell. The impact triggers an earthquake we estimate at magnitude 10 to 11, thousands of times more powerful than anything humans have ever recorded. We know when this happened almost to the day. 66 million years ago, pinned down by radioactive dating to within about 30,000 years. The clock has started. Everything from here is aftermath. T plus a few minutes. Remember all that rock blasted up into space? It has to come back down. All around the planet, trillions of droplets of molten glass begin raining back into the atmosphere. And as they scream back in, they heat the air itself. For a short, terrible window, the upper sky glows like the inside of a broiler, hot enough to roast anything caught out in the open. Now, scientists still argue about exactly how far this reached, whether it set the whole world alight or scorched mainly the regions closest to the impact, so we won't overclaim it. But near the strike, the sky itself became a weapon, and glass kept falling for the next hour or two. And here is the first cruel twist of the day. The thing that started killing the dinosaurs wasn't the impact you could see coming. It was the sky falling back down as fire, hours later on the far side of the world. T plus about 1 hour. 3,000 kilometers away, nearly 2,000 miles from the impact, there is a quiet river in what is now North Dakota. The ocean tsunami is far too slow to have reached this far inland yet. But the earthquake's shockwaves are not. Minutes after the strike, they tear through the bedrock and violently slosh a nearby arm of the sea, sending a surge of water crashing over the land, burying fish and everything around them alive. And this gives us the single most astonishing piece of crime scene evidence in all of paleontology. When scientists excavated those fish, they found tiny beads of impact glass lodged inside their gills. The fish had been breathing as the debris rained down, which means they died within the very same hour the asteroid struck, 3,000 kilometers away. The site is called Tanis, and it is not without scientific controversy, but its headline findings have been backed up by independent teams. And those same fossilized bones held one last haunting detail. Their growth rings were frozen mid-spring. The dinosaurs died in springtime, just as the northern world was waking up for the year. T plus hours. Now the ocean itself answers. The impact heaves up one of the largest waves in the history of the planet. Right at the crater, the water piles into a wave that may have towered over 100 meters high. It races outward in every direction and within about 2 days, tsunamis are pounding coastlines on the far side of the world, thousands of kilometers away, tearing apart the shallow ecosystems where so much life lived. The raw energy of it was on the order of tens of thousands of times greater than any tsunami in modern human history. But here is the thing to hold on to. Everything so far, the blast, the fireball, the wave, the quake, all of it strikes in the first hours and days. It is horrifying, but if you were small and lucky, it was survivable. What actually finishes the job is slower, quieter, and far more patient. Because now, the sun begins to go out. T+ weeks. All that vaporized rock, soot, and sulfur, blasted high into the atmosphere, spreads into a dark shroud wrapped around the entire planet. And the sky begins to dim. Not for an afternoon, for months. The best estimates suggest sunlight was cut by as much as 80%, dropping the whole world below the level of light that plants need to live. Stop and think about what that actually means. Photosynthesis is the foundation of almost every food chain on Earth. When plants on land and the tiny plankton in the oceans can no longer catch the light, they die. And when they die, everything that eats them starves, and everything that eats those animals starves right behind them. The asteroid never had to hunt down the dinosaurs one by one. It only had to turn the sun down for a while and let the entire living world collapse from the bottom up. This is the real murder weapon, not fire, darkness. T+ years. With the sunlight choked off, the planet drops into what scientists call an impact winter. Global temperatures crash, by some estimates around 10 to 16 degrees Celsius on average, and far more than that in many places. The warm, humid Cretaceous world, the greenhouse the dinosaurs had thrived in for over 100 million years, freezes over almost overnight in geological terms. And it does not simply snap back. The worst of the cold and the darkness grinds on for years, by some models the better part of a decade, with the after effects dragging on far longer. Now picture a giant, plant-eating dinosaur that needs to strip hundreds of kilograms of vegetation every single day, stranded on a dark, frozen, dying planet where the plants themselves are gone. There is simply no way through it, and so, one by one, all across the world, the greatest animals that ever lived lie down and do not get back up. When the skies finally clear and the dust literally settles, the final accounting is staggering. Around 75% of all species on Earth are simply gone. Every last non-avian dinosaur, every tyrannosaur, every triceratops, every colossus that had ruled the land for over 150 million years, wiped out completely. Their only descendants left alive are the birds. And we can read this entire catastrophe in a single line of rock. All around the planet, in cliffs and quarries on every continent, there is a thin layer of clay that marks this exact instant in time. And that layer is loaded with iridium, a metal that is rare in the Earth's crust, but common in asteroids. It was that strange iridium layer, discovered back in 1980, that first told us the killer had come from space. So who lived through it? Not the big, and not the hungry. The survivors were small, animals that could burrow underground, shelter in water, and eat almost anything they could find. If you were tiny, hidden, and not picky, you had a chance. If you were enormous and specialized, you were finished. And that one brutal rule would go on to decide the entire future of life on this planet. Now, any good investigation checks for a second suspect, and this case has one. At almost the very same time, on the other side of the world, in what is now India, volcanoes were erupting on a scale that is genuinely hard to imagine, flooding the land with lava and pumping out climate-altering gases for many thousands of years. Some scientists have argued that these eruptions, not the asteroid, were the real killers. So which was it? Today, Most researchers put the asteroid first. The extinction lines up almost perfectly with the moment of impact, while the volcanoes likely stressed the planet before and after, weakening the world that the asteroid then shattered. The honest verdict is this: the asteroid pulled the trigger, but the Earth may already have been standing on thin ice. And now the twist. The reason this was never only a story about an ending. Because down in the ruins of that dead world, something was waiting. Those small, burrowing, eat-anything survivors. A great many of them were mammals, including our own distant ancestors. With the giant dinosaurs gone, the whole planet suddenly stood empty, and it belonged to whoever was left standing. In Colorado, there is a remarkable fossil site called Corral Bluffs that captures the recovery in stunning detail, and it shows mammals exploding in size and variety within just a few 100,000 years of the impact. Creatures that had spent 100 million years scurrying in the dark, hiding from the footsteps of dinosaurs, now inherited the Earth. And out of that lineage of survivors would eventually rise the primates, and, tens of millions of years later, us. The very same asteroid that ended the age of the dinosaurs is the event that cracked open the door for you to exist. So here is the whole day, from the top. T+0, the strike. T+1 hour, the fish at Tanis die with glass caught in their gills. T+days, the great tsunamis fade. T+months, the sun goes dark. T+years, the long cold and the end of the dinosaurs. And then, slowly, a door swings open for the mammals, and the story of life begins all over again. That is the strangest thing about the worst day the Earth has ever seen. It was an ending and a beginning at the exact same moment. The catastrophe that erased 3/4 of all life is the very reason that our kind of life ever got its turn. Which lands us right back on the biggest question of all, the one we opened last time. How life keeps finding a way to begin, again and again, even out of total ruin. If you want to keep decoding the universe's great turning points, the endings, the beginnings, and the strange places where the two are the same thing, that is exactly what this channel is here for. So hit subscribe and you won't miss the next one. And I genuinely want to hear from you down in the comments. If that asteroid had missed, if the dinosaurs had lived, do you think anything like us would ever have come to exist? Then go back and watch, how did life actually begin? It is the perfect other half of this story, the beginning to this ending. Tell me which cosmic mystery I should open next. The most requested one becomes the next video.